5 days after my daughter was born, and about 2 days after we'd finally brought her home from hospital, I sat on this very bench on Clapham Common with my husband and our daughter in a pram, sleeping, finally, after God knows how long. And I remember looking around at all of these happy families playing on a Sunday afternoon with their dogs and their toddlers running around and their lovely lives. And I remember thinking quite clearly, I cannot ever imagine being part of that kind of family. The truth was, at what I thought was going to be one of the brightest, most brilliant times of my life, I felt utterly bleak. That morning I remember I'd woken up after about 2 hours sleep and the health visitor had come round to weigh my daughter, and I just felt like crying constantly. And my dad came to visit and I turned him away, my dad. And I remember thinking, and this is going to sound really terrible now, and it felt pretty terrible at the time, I can tell you. But I remember thinking, I really miss it being just me and my husband. I realise now what I had was something called the baby blues. Now, the baby blues is a not terribly medical sounding condition that does actually affect something like 8 in 10 women. So if you come to watch this video because you think you have it, don't fear, you're not alone. They say the baby blues can last anything from a couple of hours to a couple of days to a couple of weeks, but they will pass, or they should pass. If they don't, and you're still feeling really bleak about a month after you've given birth, please go to your GP. Even if you think it's silly, it's really important because you might have postnatal depression. So if you're watching this video, the chances are you might be feeling low. And I wanted to share with you some of the things that I did that helped me get through the first few weeks of being a mother. So my first and most important tip is get out of the house. As soon as this video is over, shut down your laptop, go outside with your child. You may not feel like it. It may be blowing a gale. You may be wanting to watch another episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I know, I've been there, but I promise you, you're gonna feel better. Even if you just go for a walk around the common, even if you just go to Sainsbury's to buy a pint of milk, the sense of doing something is really, really important, and being in the fresh air. Also, the other bonus is fresh air is really good to help baby sleep. My second tip is do something you think you can't do. Now, I'm not going to suggest learning Mandarin or taking up rock climbing or anything ridiculous like that. I mean, really simple things that you're probably a bit frightened of doing. So for me, living in London, what I did, I remember the day after my husband Harry went back to work, I got on the tube with Edie in a sling, and I went across London to meet a friend for lunch. And it was frightening, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it, and would I be prepared, would I have everything in my change bag I needed, and what if she started crying and everyone on the train stared at me and hated me. But I can't tell you how amazing I felt when I got back that evening. You could not stop me telling Harry about my really tedious tube journey. For you, it might be something completely different. It might be going for a drive in the car with the baby in the car seat. It might be getting a buggy on the bus. Terrifying at first, but really easy. Or it might be changing your baby's nappy in a public place for the first time. It could be something really simple, but I promise you, once you've done it, you're going to be feeling much better. My third and final tip is find parents who are going through the same thing as you. Now, you may not have done an NCT or an antenatal class. That doesn't matter. It's not too late to find people who have babies a similar age to you. Go online, look up local mother and baby groups, community centres, find out about breastfeeding clinics near you. There's bound to be some, and you'll meet other women going through the same thing as you there if you're struggling with that. You may be feeling really horrible and low, but I promise you it won't last, and you are doing a great job.